the altered scale. The altered scale of A7 being the B-flat melodic minor. And one of the reasons why it works so well as an altered dominant is because of this E-flat 7 sharp 11. This is the tritone substitution of the A7, where we use that B-flat melodic minor scale. But why I want to go into the altered scale is because it's not only that tritone substituted dominance, there are so many other great sounds in that scale that you can use for altered dominant. In this video I'm gonna play tons of examples that you can take and use directly into your playing, because there's nothing more important than playing the sound and hearing the sound of the material. Play along right away with me in the video or get the lesson manual on Patreon, where you can follow all the licks in writing and play them in your own tempo. There are three things that are really important when we start looking at the altered scale. What's the big deal? Can we just substitute the dominants like the backdoor dominant? Or the tritone substituted dominant? Or why don't we just bebop our way out of it? So is the altered scale relevant for us to play? Yes, it is. Technical practice. When we want to use any kind of material, we really need to work it out on our horn. We need to know it in our fingers. We need to know it in our sleep. You need to know the scale in every way to get the perspective of the whole scale. And then there's application. Of course, we need to apply the scale to our music. Full steam ahead, let's get on with this altered scale. In the altered scale, there's so many beautiful forms of alterations and substitution chords. And what I really like about these substitutions is they are a little bit different to each other, and they all sound great. I want to take a short moment just to get into this bebop sound, where you're using the E-flat 7 normal and the A7 compared to each other. This is a bebop line, not altered in any way, just the A7 bebop scale down to that D major. And then you have the exact same bebop scale, the E-flat 7, with an A-flat in it, going into that D major chord. I'm playing the A7 bebop scale down to that D major, and I'm playing the E-flat 7 bebop scale down to that D7. It's the same sound. The A7 and the E-flat 7 are just plain old major scales. There are no real outside and crazy thinking or intervals in this scale. But in the altered scale there are so many great sounding dominants, and let's dig into those right now. When you really dig into the altered scale, you see all these beautiful sounds we can mix together and get these beautiful altered dominant sounds on the A7. And you can pick any of these to make an altered sound. And in this example, you take the first chord of the B-flat melodic minor scale, you take the B-flat minor major chord and make this into a line. With these tones, the F and the B-flat, you get the flat 13 and the flat 9 into the A7 chord. When you start looking at the chords in the altered scale, so the chords up the scale, you find all these hidden gems, some great chord progressions like the C minor 7, F7. But played in the altered scale, the B-flat melodic minor. All these tones sound great. You just play C minor, F7 in the melodic minor scale, stay in the scale, and then you resolve this to the D major. And as you can see, I'm just using the tones of the B-flat melodic minor. In the lesson manual PDF on Patreon, I have of course put all these licks and all these hidden gem chords. Take them out and use them in your own playing. Get the hang of the altered scale and get into it. I'm a firm believer that you should never practice anything that you cannot use in your own playing. Also not technical exercise in the altered scale. And there's something about technique and playing. You really need to master technique, but you also need to master the playing of the technique, the sound of the technique, the music in the technique. I'm starting with scales in thirds. It's always a great exercise because it makes you flexible and your fingers needs to move in a flexible way. Immediately when you have trained the thirds in the scale, you need to put this into lines you make. And the altered scale is nothing different than any other scale. And if I should do a lot of technical exercise in the altered scale, I would also recommend you to take all the arpeggios and play them up and down the scale. And the arpeggios also give you a wide range of material you can use directly into your jazz lines. And in this little odd exercise, I combine a piece of arpeggio and a piece of scale. And the outcome is kind of an etude-like sound. Making etudes are really good for combining different sounds. Here's the arpeggio and the scale, what I mentioned. You get a hang of how it can sound in a jazz lick. So make your etudes like jazz licks. And exactly in this lick you see how I use that etude sound on that alto dominant. And you can directly see that every technical exercise you practice has to have some foundation in the things you're actually playing in your music. On Patreon, in the lesson manual, I have of course added lots of etudes and lots of these lines added into the licks that you can use them directly. Practice the etudes, practice the licks and get it into your playing immediately. The link of the Patreon is in the description. Let's dig into some more amazing ideas on hidden chord combinations in the altered scale. Because all the tones in the altered scale are altered and lead into the tonic chord, you can use them all just playing the scale up and down, and it's a great feature just to use the scale. So when you're training this, try messing around and make melodies with the scale. Make beautiful melodies in this odd scale. And I'm always curious what the inside of the scale looks like, so I'm practicing this a lot. Taking out the chords individually and looking at them. What does this chord give me? In this lick I'm using the upper structures of each chord. On the E minor I'm using that G major 9 chord, and on the A7 I'm using the upper structure of the B flat minor major chord, getting a D flat major 9 sharp 5 chord. That's some pretty heavy stuff, but it's all right there in the scale, just waiting to be practiced. A great way to train the upper structures is writing down all the chords in the scale, but play all the chords from the third, getting this beautiful upper structure. Learn what these chords are, the upper structure chords, and combine them with the natural chord. So I mentioned all these hidden structures you can find. And because all the tones in the altered scale leads towards that tonic, there are no avoid notes in the altered scale and you can use them all in any way you want. Try the C minor 7 F7 chord, moving into the D major. This is a combination of tones I do not hear that often. Or get into the more traditional B flat minor major E flat 7. This is the tritone substitution dominant in the altered scale. And when you play this, you get the B flat minor major sound. You get this A in the sharp 11 of the E flat 7. To get you going in the altered scale, learn all the tricks, learn all the chords inside, learn all the great sounds. I recommend you to download the lesson manual PDF on Patreon. It's filled with all these altered scale tricks, all these altered scale chords, and all the etudes, and they are all added into licks and lines you can take directly and use in your playing. Get it all on Patreon, the link is right here. I bet you want to check out more outside playing strategies. This is Michael Brecker and John Coltrane going all in, using their amazing outside formulas. Play music, have fun.